Obviously, the one thing that's good about the ACC, when you win or whether or not you lose, you can look forward to another challenging match the very next game out. It's amazing to me how over the years that regardless of who's playing, in regardless of where you're positioned in the standings, you always are getting games that are extremely competitive. Now, from our standpoint, obviously, it's a rarity when you have a game that's won or lost by the margin of our last game. Now, it'd be foolish for me to think that we're gonna shoot 70% and 66% from the free throw line, 100%. 100% from the free throw line and 66% from the three. But when you do have a game like that, you definitely get everybody's attention. So there's no doubt that whatever Carolina saw that we were effective in doing, they will be prepared to counter it. So it all comes back to each team. The team that normally is successful is the one that comes as close as they can to being who they are and playing to their strengths. And if you're able to minimize the strengths of another team, and as we look toward Carolina, you got to think that the strength of their team is that their three leading scorers are all almost 7-footers. And anybody, I don't know if I played against anybody who's averaging 17 offensive rebounds a game. Going to be completely different than the North Carolina State game, where they played without their best interior guy, at least their leading shot blocker. They're going to come in. That's where their strength's going to be. So different game plan, different execution, different focus. That's what makes the game so interesting, because every game, each team gives you something different, a different challenge.
Hear from Chris Nee first.
Good morning, Leonard. I was wondering how Scotty felt yesterday with regards to the ankle that he banged up in the second half of that game.
Well, we didn't do, obviously, with 3 games in 6 days. Yesterday's was more debriefing and film work, skull work, walkthrough, putting our game plan together. So obviously he still has a turned ankle. We really don't know. Everybody recovers from ankle turns differently. So we probably won't know until game time as to where he is. I really don't know how severe it is. It's just that, like I said earlier, some people seem to recover differently. So we really, regardless of where it is, we have to be prepared to go out and be at our very, very best. And that's the challenge sometimes of going through a year. You always have somebody that has something that's tweaked. And even when guys are really playing, sometimes, you have to warm up and stretch, and then you see how you feel. And some guys are affected by things more than others. So I really can't give you an answer other than we didn't do anything yesterday to evaluate it, and quite naturally so. We hadn't planned to, and I doubt very seriously if we allow him to do very much at all. He doesn't have anything, I think, that's going on with his other little tweak that's serious, because I thought he played pretty well the other night. But I'm kind of a mother hen kind of guy. I'll always err on the side of caution, and I'll be extremely patient. If a guy's not 100%, I'm not interested in ever putting anybody at risk. So we'll wait and see, and we'll see where it is. That's why I normally don't even talk about injuries and those things, only because I'm never going to tell you the truth regardless of what I say. So, I'm coming as close as I can, just trying to give you an idea what it's like in situations like that. And that's what we did yesterday.
Go to Irish O'Fell.
Tenor seems like he's been coming on, and he looked good. It was effective this past game. And then I know Malik probably hasn't scored the way he might have hoped to, but Do you feel like those guys this is going to be a good opportunity for them to kind of show their development?
What
And
fellas,
your other big guys as well, obviously.
now I guess you guys now, I know sometimes early in the season when I try to be frank and honest, especially Antoine, he doesn't know me very well. He said, "Oh, he gave me another coaching talk." I don't heard all that stuff before. And I keep saying to you guys, as a head coach, I'm still having a hard time developing a real rotation. Some of those games we've had earlier, I've kind of gone with my most experienced players, not because I don't have confidence in where I think the newer rotation will be able to take us. It's just that I'm not as familiar with these guys and how they're going to perform with limited things that we've had to go through, not having exhibition games, not having some of those early season games. Tanoy was he had to go through. He got in school late. I mean, got here late. He got in school on time, but because of travel restrictions, it wasn't easy for him to get here. And he was taking online courses. Then he came in and had to get physicals and get through all of that. So he got started late in his development, learning a different style, different system. But that still is the same thing with Sadar, same thing with Quincy, and even the transition that Scott has had to make from being a power forward in high school to going out now and having the responsibility, quote, as a point guard, but then learning new players, new system, learn how to be effective yourself. We kind of going through still a development stage. In a perfect world, I'm trying to say, do I rotate my big guys, Balsa and Tanoy and Quincy, and rotate Gray and Malik at the 4, if you got to name a position, but bouncing Malik back between 4 and 5, I think it's kind of kept him from maybe being as offensive productive as I think he's capable of. But I'm very pleased with what Malik's doing because, gosh, he's giving us tremendous energy. He's battling. He's active in there, keeping the ball alive. I mean, he's just playing without a whole lot of thinking. I'm anxious to get Calhoun and Jack a little bit more into the rotation so that they can be a little more comfortable. I saw a little progress that they made the other night. I look up and I'm playing MJ 32 minutes. That's not good for the way we play. Anthony's playing a little too many minutes right now. The other night we played against. We had a game and I played Raquan Gray 7 straight minutes. That's not good for the way we want to play. And he had a hard time recovering when he got back in the game. The game the other night, not knowing Scott's availability, then Raquan gets a foul in the first minute. And I'm realizing I might have to Gray, I might have to use him as a backup point guard. So I have to take him out of the game to just as security in case I need another ball handler. But because it was pressing, I need to have him on the court because he really does a good job taking the ball out of bounds and handling the press. But then I was pleased that Wyatt and Malik, I thought they did an exceptionally good job when the ball went back to them and handling the ball and making good decisions with the ball. So those things are just still in flux with us right now. I'm still, and so I don't think that we can go out and score 105 all the time, but I think we're better than we have been playing. And I think a lot of it's because we just got guys that are still, the cake's still in the oven. We got guys that are still transitioning into our system. Jack, I mean, I've said all along, he's capable of doing this. But he's, the other games I haven't had an opportunity to get him on the floor very much, but I'm still learning as we go, and I'm still trying to get guys minutes and gain confidence while we're in the teeth of the battle. And I'm still struggling a little bit here. I thought Tenoy went in the next question. He went in the other night, and you saw him be a little more comfortable. You saw Jack be a little more comfortable. You saw Sadar play a little. I mean, I got Quincy a couple of minutes, and it was kind of interesting. He went in the game, and he was spinning around like a top. I didn't know what he's playing zone or man to man there for a minute, But that's getting guys on the floor and getting them over that nervousness and that newness. So, fellas, we still developing now. So, you guys got to just kind of watch as we grow, and I'm just hopeful that we can continue to keep winning while we trying to fill it out, trying to get it together.
Go to Kurt Weiler next.
If Scotty's obviously not able to start or I guess play at all, that again makes a bigger role for Raekwon. I guess how comforting, if that's the case, is kind of what he showed you earlier this week. I mean, he's not going to be that efficient, but the attacking mindset he had, and I mean, just what you saw from him.
Well, it's one thing to be attacking when the shot block is over on street clothes. Another thing to be attacking when you're going into the teeth of 4 7-footers. That's another ball game. What I'm saying to you, and then plus the fact the way we play, not having a rotation of point guards makes us have to come with a different rotation. So I can't anticipate. I'm not going to try to look and see where we are because I don't know exactly what to tell you, how to answer that. But we have different guys that can step into different roles, and we'll see where it goes. We played Anthony some at the point, but he's shooting 50% from 3, so quite naturally, I'm trying to keep him in another position. I like for him to be on the catch as opposed on the push all the time, but that's the nature of college basketball or any sport. You never really know where you are from an injury standpoint or what the rotation is going to be. That's why I guess you practice, and hopefully, we'll maybe we'll go to Justin Linder. I mean, he came in the other night and gave us a couple of minutes, but I'm sure that regardless of what we're dealing with, we're still gonna get the North Carolina's best shot. So I just have to wait to see how we utilize the full complement of our players, see what happens as it relates to Saturday's game.
Go to Lane Hurt next.
Coach, after the 15-day layoff, 2 postponements, the way that your team mentally responded to that and played the way that they did, knowing that this is more than likely you're going to have a few more of these types of things during the season, what does that say about your team and what you can do with this team, the way that they mentally prepare for these types of moments?
Well, to be very honest with you, I think it shows our potential, but it also is somewhat alarming as to why it's taking us this long to be this in sync, which says that we still a work in progress. It's easy to go back and take your chest out and say, boy, we really played really good the other night. But in order for that game to be meaningful, we need to come back and do it again and again and again. We're still trying to find ourselves. I don't think we are 100-point team per night, but I also don't think that we're the team that played like in those 2 games that we lost. So, but I just think that we still are developing, and I'm not going to overreact one way or the other. I'm just going to stay focused and keep trying to stick with our system and our culture, and hopefully that we'll continue to keep getting better. At this point, we basically lost 4 really good players last year, and we're not quite at that point where we just automatically just move without some growing pains from year to year to year. We have more transitions going on with this team than any team that we've had in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. Like I said earlier, we got guys accepting new roles, and we have guys that are in positions where in order for us to be effective, we need our 4 new players to be a little bit further along than what we have required, the team has required in the past. So as a coach, I'm still optimistic, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
Go to Bob Ferrante.
Hey, Coach, good morning. I'm curious. I know we could have a long conversation about strength and conditioning, but maybe if you could just apply it to Raekwon Gray and in particular, just the work that Coach Bradley and the staff have done, maybe specifically with him or other guys, as far as just, you know, improving their conditioning and getting them ready for the grind of the season.
Well, there's no doubt that we call Coach Bradley the mad scientist in the weight room. I mean, he is one of the foremost, most knowledgeable weight training and conditioning coaches in the United States. And I remember, and when I was making the adjustment, the change when I was at the University of Miami, it took me a year to do all my research to find. I looked all over the country, from Maine to Mexico, from Oregon to Miami. I looked under every rock I could, trying to locate the person that I felt that would suit us from a weight training conditioning program with the philosophies that I thought that would be beneficial to basketball players. And believe me, that's a lot different weight training conditioning as it relates to basketball players, as it relates to wrestling and football and some of the other sports. This guy's really, really, really good. And he operates in a preventive posture. He's done an excellent job with Gray. He's still got a lot more to go. So I'm very pleased with where he is from a standpoint. He's athletic. He's more athletic. He's moving better. His stamina is much better. He's stronger, and I think it's showing in all phases of his game. So a lot of that compliment goes to Coach Brad and the great job that he's done. But also, I think Raekwon has done a very good job. More disciplined, eating better. Getting up, working out more, taking some ownership into trying to improve his conditioning. And I think it's showing. I still think his best basketball is ahead of him. I think that he still can trim down a little bit more. He's really has not really started shooting the ball from the perimeter as well as we know he's capable of. I mean, his shooting percentage from 3 is not very good, but it's not because he's not capable. He's doing a very good job in practice. I know before too long, you're going to see him become more consistent throughout the whole game. I'm really, really pleased with the progress he's made.
Go to Antoine from the Democrat.
Coach, okay, so I know you talked about how it's a consistent development phase with your rotations. Just talk about what goes into your evaluation of your different rotations. Is it just opponent? Is it watching film? And also, when do you feel like you may get a little bit more comfortable with a certain rotation or a certain number of players?
Okay, to answer your question, I know what kind of rotation I want. I'm not changing my rotation. I would like to be in a position where the progress of the players, the consistency of the players are not part of my thinking when it comes to rotation. I like to have a little bit more working knowledge of what I can expect from guys in rotation. What I'm saying to you is that because we have so many, we got 4 new guys that need to be in the rotation, and we have had less opportunities for me to evaluate them. This has been kind of a moving target. And then even with the guys that are returning, their roles have changed. And so, you know, I need Anthony to be a little bit more aggressive offensively. Gray has taken on a different, more of a role. Malik now, in order for us to be successful, Malik needs to be a little bit more consistent. Evans, you know, Evans had Trent Forrest the backup last year. Now, his input and his efficiency has a direct bearing on the success of our team. He has a young guy that's starting that he's backing up, so his experience is more important. So as I go into a game, I'm still a little uneasy. I'm not real sure of my rotation as I have been in the past, because I have guys who are just moving to different roles and guys who are just learning a new system. So I'm not as comfortable as I have been. And so our system is what it is. And I would like for me to be more comfortable when I'm knowing that the guys who are going in, I'm comfortable that I know what they bring to the table. Right now, we're still in as much of a physical transition as we are mental and emotional. It's not easy to step into those positions and take on those different roles as maybe you might would think. I mean, Trent Forrest, we won 9 straight overtime games with Trent Forrest. Now, I like to think that was good coaching, but let's face it, this guy made great decisions with the ball. He hit his free throws. He had a great feel for where everybody was, and he was special. So now we can't expect these guys to come in and pick up exactly where he left off. So that means the combination of execution when everybody has to be in the play, and sometimes new players don't always execute as well as these guys. And so right now, I'm still learning our team. I'm still learning our rotation. The other night, you notice I went with Tenor as opposed to going with Malik at the 5. And so I just had that's what would be more helpful, because at 7'2", his ability to block shots, his ability to finish around the basket, is something that we really, really need. Where he's showing me that he's making that progress. We're ways away, Antoine, for me really feeling comfortable with the rotation. I'm just hoping that we can continue to keep winning a certain measure of a game, so that we can finally, at some point, hopefully before too long, we'll be in that seat that we've been accustomed to.
Go to Ryan Kelly.
Coach, in your system, what's one of the biggest keys defensively when you're playing a team that likes to crash the boards like Carolina?
Well, it's no secret. They're big and strong. They push, they shove, they're athletic. I mean, it's a battle in there. It's a total battle. And they have won most of the battles because they're big, they're strong, they're thick, they're physical, and they're athletic. But over the years, this has been part of Carolina's system. They've always had those 2 big power guys in there. As far as I remember, like I said earlier, when I was at the University of Kentucky for 12 years, North Carolina was my game preparation. And believe me, that's part of who they are, their culture. They recruit to their system, and this is part of who they are. And if you're not in there ready to do hand-to-hand combat, it could get ugly. They are just dominating people inside, and that's a tribute to their coaching and then the athletes they have on the team. So, but they feign fast break. You got to be ready for the traps. It's coming. I think I was on a call earlier, and I think they got 7 McDonald All-Americans on the team. Is that what someone told me? I don't know that to be a fact. I didn't really look at that, but they're really, really good. And we have to be at our very best. We obviously, if we give up, I think the other night it was something. Did they have 24 offensive rebounds in the last game they played? Chuck, didn't they have 24?
I think it's right. Yeah. Yep.
Some had 24 offensive rebounds, and that's one reason why I think they are shooting so many more free throws than their opponents, because they're getting the offensive boards, and they're all big, strong finishers around the basket. So if you don't keep them off the boards, they're going to get fouls, because now you're in a bad position trying to stop them from making layups. So that's part of the game. That's what they bring. That's their strength. And we got to find a way to combat it. So having bigger guys on the floor might help us a little bit.
Go to Austin Cox from Tomahawk Nation.
Hey, good morning, Coach. I just want to ask you about the transition offense you've had lately. How big of a factor do you think that was Wednesday night in the big offensive game y'all had, and how much does that help the offense when y'all can get out and transition like that?
You must have missed the Clemson game. Our transition offense wasn't so good in that game. Now, North Carolina State pressed us, You know, they full court pressed us the entire game, and so they wanted to play a fast-paced game. So that's why the game was probably a little more wide open. They wanted to be that way because they quick and they fast, and they got guys that can get to the basket and guys that can shoot threes. So they play to their strength. Carolina is a very good defensive team, and they really like to get out. They're one of the best transition teams in the country. I don't know if it's going to be that type of a pace game. I know Carolina going to be pushing it, but I thought their press had a lot to do with the transition game the other night. Each game in the ACC takes on a different personality. We expect that once Carolina, if they run their fast break, then they go into the Carolina secondary break, then they go into their Carolina motion offense where everybody's getting a touch. They got certain shuffles and things that they've done over the years. Everyone knows what their offense is going to be. They're saying but can you stop it? That's what you face. You face with a very talented, well-oiled machine coming in here. And I'm sure they're hungry, trying to get back to where they have been. I believe they won 3 straight games. Is that correct? It's won 3 straight games. Is that right, fellas? Yeah, I believe they have. So they're coming in with a lot of confidence, and they're the kind of team that we know that they're going to be at their best. The great coach, Hall of Fame coach, loaded with talent, trying to recover from a down year last year. We know we're getting their best shot.